Here we are, round 2 with Beatnik Bobby. We mulligan the one lander, and then we mulligan. I probably should mulligan that, but no, I keep like an idiot. I don't know, I figure I just need to hit planes and get lucky. This hand's not very good, and even if we draw planes, it's only mediocre. But Beatnik Bobby talks to me and he's saying like, "You on tokens again?" And I kind of am like, "Yeah." And then he's like, "Oh, Mountain, you're not on tokens." And I'm like, "Gotcha." Haha. And he actually skipped his turn and had to discard because he saw I missed my land drop, so he just kept clicking, didn't think it was his turn. And he like F6 through his turn, so he discarded a whisk away, so can't be good for me. So here I make a big play and go for it. His only relevant card possible is Voyage's End, but he has it, and again, I don't have double white, so I'm not able to. And if I have double white, I get to lead with that planes on that turn, play Defiant Strike, hold open God's Willing, and then blow him out. Or at least, blow out in the sense that I get to at least draw a card and deal an extra couple damage. But a Tamir Battle Rage just basically because I'm saying, hey, there's no clock on you. If I don't do this now, I at least have a 2-2 instead of 1-1. It's probably dead anyway, but it's not. So here, I'm just like, alright, I can beat one protection spell, or one removal spell, so it goes Lightning Strike. I go Feet. It's mana efficient for me, but he's got 4 mana and 2 removal spells, so I'm just like, eh. That exchange would have happened at the end of my turn anyway. So if I would have attacked, he would have taken 2. I would have said go. He would have went Lightning Strike your guy. I would have went Feet of Resistance it. And then he would have went Lightning Strike your guy anyway. So the only problem is that I went for the Dragon Mantle and then didn't get to draw a card off it. So I didn't really play around the double removal spell very well. But again, this deck is just being super awkward and drawing 3 of one source, 1 of the other when I'm only able to, draw the opposite color from the lands that I'm playing. But I'm clocking him now. He's playing Radiant Fountain, and he's treasure cruising, spending millions of mana to treasure cruise, but I have no clock on him. I probably should have Immortals Arted there when he was tapped out to at least deal him some extra damage and get the clock on him. Here I get to Dragon Mantle him, which is pretty great, but now I can't draw anything relevant. But I get to hit him for 4. Again, probably should have Mortals Artered there again. But I figure I'm saving it for a turn for me Tamir Battle Raging or something. I think I'm just playing patient. But again, it's like some games I just don't draw land. Now I'm just drawing all land. So 7 cards in hand. He's got to have something. Voyage's End, God's Willing. What's he got? Another Voyage's End. Alright, I can't possibly win at this point. Bloodfire Mentor, that's an interesting card. You don't want to attack with that. Yeah, double Benthic Giant's a little rough. Despite my awful board position right here and him having a million cards in hand and me having nothing, he's not that far ahead. I get to double chump here. Like, I can still draw, like, I can just go runner. I can go, like, Defiant Strike into, if I go just Defiant Strike into Dragon Mantle into Tamir Battle Rage, and, like, I'd probably just kill him. So I have to draw, like, runner. It's another chumper. So, again, 12 damage. All I need is Tamir Battle Rage and 2 other spells, really. Again, Chosen by Heliod might have been better. But no, It costs 2 mana, or it's Titan Strength. Scries and deals effectively 4 damage. It's basically giving, +4/+2 for a heroic creature for 1 mana. It doesn't draw a card, but it scries at least, but it's just sick with Tamir Battle Rage. Because if you Tamir Battle Rage, it's, +8/+2. So we're still drawing live despite being dead on board. And we do not hit. So yeah, we're dead. Okay, so game 1 didn't go very well, but against blue-red, yeah, our sideboard's pretty awful against them. We just bring in the ephemeral shields to help protect against like the red burn spells. Yep. So here we can at least hold open, God's willing. But we don't. I figure, we just need to draw cards. If he kills this guy, it's fine. But now we get to open God's willing and Feat of Resistance. That's pretty great. And he does nothing at the end of turn with 2 mana open, so he doesn't have Voyage's End or Lightning Strike or Magma Spray. Because he certainly would have gone for it, I think. I think he has Whisk Away, but I'm like, you know what? I have so many protection spells. I would just grow my guy and it would crush him. So he finally goes for the Lightning Strike here. And I figure he could have Magma Spray. So either way, I'm want a Feat here and God's willing. Actually, I figure I should have Ephemeral Shields because it's the worst. I probably should have feated. Nah, I figure it's the worst because my guy's probably dead. He probably has like double Voyage's End or something. Lightning Strike. Now here, I make a subtle play with this. Now my guy's a 4/4. I give it protection from blue. So I choose blue here, and I don't even know if he noticed this. I chose blue because I didn't want him to play an untapped land and then Voyage's End my guy while I'm tapped out. Now, very easily, he could have untapped land plus another Lightning Strike, or untapped land plus Magma, or just Magma Spray right now. Well, untapped land, Scouring Sands or whatnot. Either way, I made this play just to protect against Voyage's End because he knows I'm tapped out, but also because I thought he might just think, oh, he's obviously going to choose red, so even if he had the red removal to finish him off, he wouldn't play it. And that was my hope. So either way, I'm just like, oh, untapped land, alright, now fading Magma Spray, faded it. Okay. So now I think I'm really golden. I got a huge clock on him. After this attack, he's dead in 3 turns, and I figure instead of playing my Skyguard here, I want to hold open both of these protection spells because he can't beat what my board is. And I've invested so much into this guy already. So Flurry of Horns, sure. So what are you going to do when I attack? So he just takes it. I'm like, okay. Play another land, so now I get to play my flyer now because I can still hold open both my spells. Plays a Radiant Fountain and a Starfish. Now I have Titan Strength. This is a semi-awkward spot because now I'm in a position where I'm the first to act, so I have to lead. So I don't want to lead with my protection spell. I want to save my protection spells. So now I go pro blue. And I figure God's willing is better because I'm not getting in for any extra damage yet. And I want to scry and put a bad card on the bottom. Jeskai Student is, I think it's bad because he has an 0/3. And I really just want to draw like another protection spell, Tamir Battle Rage or something. Inferno Fist, now that card's great because I can put on the Skyguard and gives him another. It just brings my clock up a little bit. But then I realize when he taps out for Rise of Eagles, I just have the win on board. I can just Inferno Fist my guy, make it 9 power, and then give it protection from blue, and then he cannot block, and he takes 11. So that's kind of the benefit of the heroic deck is, eventually this blue-red deck has to tap out. And the protection spells, see, I drew 1, 2, 3, 4. I drew 4 of them, so having that 9th one, Ephemeral Shields in, again, was good. And look, because I was able to use it earlier if I saved Ephemeral Shields and that was the last card in hand, it wouldn't have dealt, the falter effect here to get the last bit of damage. So having it and not having to waste a God's Willing or Feat of Resistance is what allowed me to win this exact turn. So, just something to see. Ephemeral Shields, that, and/or a Johnny's Presence. Potentially, I think, just worth bringing in to have even more of those things to help deal with, all the target removal and bounce spells. Because again, if you have more of those counter spells, basically, to their target removal, your creatures are growing while they are getting targeted. So that only has an effect to win the game if they never land anything. But the second, it doesn't matter if you enable Heroic and protect your guy 3 times. If they then grip-tied it or something, all that work was for nothing. And they just have a hard time losing at that point. This hand's pretty good. So here we are for game 3. So we're going to play our duel like always. Lead off with the duel. Here we can go Trailblazer or Hoplite. Lead Trailblazer, because it can't be killed by small red removal spells. So if I was going to lead like Dragon Mantle into anything, I would want it to be on the 0-4, but I test the water and tap out with the 1-1, and he does nothing, so attack with both, mainly because just in case if he whisk aways the 1-1, I want to be able to Titan Strength or do something on my 0-4. But he's playing in fear of a protection spell, so he just takes 1. Doesn't really lose anything by attacking with the 0-4 because he can't play Flurry of Horns that turn. Even though he can play Fury of Horns this turn, that's fine with me because it taps him out. So he's not playing Nullify or yeah, he must take it out Nullify or something. I don't know what he possibly could have. He just has all expensive cards in hand. No card draw, no counters, no removal, no bounce spells. So that's pretty rough. Yeah, Barrage of Boulder is usually not that good against me. But the way that I sequenced my spells here was pretty bad. I didn't need to lay this next creature out here, so I basically just save my 2 flyers with Titan Strengths. I lose a little bit of value in missing damage from Titan Strength, but it saves them both, and now I have a clock on him in the air and 1 protection spell up at least, so we're in a decent spot. He can't Rise of Eagles, and so when 1 goes down, I'm hoping that he taps out to try to kill the other. I let it go because I figure that exact scenario is what he should probably be doing, but he doesn't. So I lose 1 guy, but it's not a big deal. I still have my protection spell because he has 5 cards in hand. He has so much he could have. So figure I'll just deal 3. He's getting to the point where he's got to start to deal now. So now that I have double protection, it's pretty sweet. I can God's Willing. And he negates. This is sad. I should have Feat of Resistance if I thought Negate was going to be the answer that he had. Because that way the Lightning Strike would have been 3 damage to a 4/4. But instead, God's Willing only gets a heroic counter, so it's like, shoot. I actually have to use my feet, which really stinks. So now I'm at a spot where I have to... Actually, no. He's just dead anyway. Okay. So it turns out to be okay, because we got a 5/5 by Temur Battle Rage at 6/6, which is 12 damage, and then the 1 from the Skyguard. Boom. So I kind of got lucky in just that the cards that I drew were great. But it would have been, definitely would have been better for me to use Feat of Resistance against Negate. And then he is dead. So yeah, pretty interesting. He revealed his hand afterwards and showed me like multiple Treasure Cruises, a Benthic Giant, Rise of Eagles, just like insanely slow cards, and that's the problem with this deck, you know. It's sort of like a ramp deck. It's a control deck, but it's rampy in that it has low cost cards and high cost cards, and sometimes you draw all the high cost ones, and you know, if you draw all your low cost ones, you can at least interact. But when you do that, it turns your high cost ones like Treasure Cruise into low cost ones and then refuels you. So that's why Tormenting Voice is actually not cuttable from the deck, at least in, I think, as like a 1 or 2 of, because it just accelerates you so much, both in Delve and in card draw for 2 mana, that you don't really want to get stuck, you know, with all these expensive things in hand. So yeah, I played pretty bad, but somehow the deck, you know, is just playing cards that are powerful enough that it barely got there. And, you know, it always feels good to kill them when they still have multiple cards in hand. Because if the game goes on any longer, you know, we're probably not going to win. So we need to be the beatdown. And that's what we did. Alright. So stay tuned for round 3 coming up.